Well, how you doing, guys? This is T-Man, T-Carp. He's working today, so I'm kind of single winging it again. But I'm glad to be here with you guys. This is a bye week, and the title of our program today is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We'll have fan reactions, really good ones we'll get into in a minute. We defeated Oklahoma 25-15, and we're going into a bye week, as I say, and next week we take on the Hogs, and we'll try to get reactions from the fans and put out something midweek on Arkansas. But let's get into this program today. Let's get into this. I've got several here that I want to look at. Scott from North Carolina, he went and took the trip, and he said the game day experience was great, and the fans there was welcoming. Even though it was a big crowd, it was an intimidating home crowd. Maybe because there's about 20,000 of you guys that made the trip into Norman. As far as the game goes, he says the defense is fast and loves contact, and said he was impressed by the speed of the ball carriers and the pressure our D line put on them. He said he felt like the game was over when we got the safety and went up 12-3. It was then Heupel decided to play less aggressive on offense because he knew they couldn't score. They couldn't score on us. Grinded out offense. He said it reminded him of the former days. Well, what I'd like to say about that, appreciate that from Scott. What I'd like to say about that is that field was terrible. The field was terrible, and the way I understood it, they watered it down and hadn't mowed it in 2 weeks, and so it was purposely to slow us down. And if we had continued to try to run our offense the way we run it, we would have probably ended up with some ankle or knee injuries that we didn't need. So we was able to run the ball. Defense was able to keep them in check. So, like you said, the game was over really early. I think when we got the safety, I'm kind of like him. When it went up 12-3, it looked like it was in the books. And I think the crowd identified by that, because you could see on TV that the crowd there's a lot of orange. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but when Brew caught that long pass down the sideline, and I could hear the crowd even on TV, Brew, Brew, Brew. And when the hit was taken and Bo Carter made that big hit, you could almost hear him say, "Boo." So you guys showed out. Another fan reaction here, Chip Payne. Chip has really been supporting us and supporting. You guys could really help us by sharing with friends and let them know what we're trying to do here, and maybe hit that like button, that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. It'd help us a lot. So I appreciate it. You guys decided to do that. We're climbing toward that 1,000 and like to reach that before the end of the season, and you guys can help me get there. And so we're climbing and just love you guys being a part of it. Chip Payne, he said on the good, because I asked good, bad, and ugly, he said the good, the defense, they're putting pressure on the quarterbacks and the running backs all night. The defense are looking for someone to hit and lay the wood to. The bad, our offensive line, we have got to get the tackle situation fixed. And I agree with you, Chip. I mean, it's pretty evident that our tackles are no depth there. We need depth, and we need to figure out what's going on there. If we don't get it fixed, like Chip says, if we want to beat Bama and Georgia we have got to do something about that. I'm hoping that working on it in that off week this week, this bye week, and ugly is that field. Everybody's talking about the field. They said it looked like a cow pasture. And I agree with you. It was awful. They had one of their players that, you know how they slow us down on their offense. They'll have someone just lay down like Ole Miss did, like Kiffin. That's out of Kiffin's playbook. Well, when they laid down, I don't think the referee seen them. So the grass was high. I think it covered them linemen up. So I mean, that's how bad the field was. It was a hay field. I think they ought to cut it this week and feed them ponies that run out on the field every once in a while when they score, which is not very often. They get to ride that pony out in that wagon. Seth Stokes, he's the man. He said, man, I thought it was a great game. Loved the defensive play, but loved seeing Coach Heupel involved as a coach. And our punter was a great weapon all night. Ugly, he didn't like the drama surrounding Hurd. I don't know enough to comment on that. I don't have the facts, but there's some reason our tackles didn't play. I don't know. Injury, I don't know. I won't comment, but that drama that's going around, it's got to be stopped. We can't have drama and have team and be united as a team, and this team deserves to be united, and as you can see, for the most part, they are. So I don't want anything that's stepping in and causing a division amongst the team. So we need to get that fixed. Hopefully that will be taken care of this week, whatever that be, whatever the problem be. But our punter, you know, a lot of people don't realize how talented our punter is. He can punt as good left-footed as he can right-footed. And when it's kind of like a hitter that hits right-handed and hits left-handed. It's got a different tail on the ball when you kick it one way or the other, or you throw it one way or the other. It tails one way or tails the other. Makes it difficult for someone that's used to receive punts off of a right-handed kicker or a left-handed kicker. It's different. So that's a weapon. He'd be able to pin them in the 5 and the 10, inside the 10, and that is a weapon in anybody's book. And that takes on that third part of the game, the special teams. Kevin Hutchinson, hey Kevin, I hope you're listening. I know you are. If you always give us a thumbs up. Kevin said that the defense and Nico looked poised and in control. The bye week comes at a good time to allow our offensive line to get healthy. Everybody's concerned about the offensive line, and I'm right there with you, Kevin. And he said that Jay McCoy, our defensive back, is an all-star, and I agree with you. Big Orange Mac, he said he said it was a solid game all the way around. Went on the road and beat a top 5 blue blood in college football. He says he would have liked to have seen more points from our offense, and he had too many penalties, and defense was an A+. Offense was A-, and coaching A+. You know, those penalties we have got that goes with discipline, and you have to be disciplined and controlled to run the offense we run, because it means up tempo, it means moving the sticks, it means getting the line quick, it means not having no mistakes from the people moving. I said we have got to get that taken care of, because 1st and 10 is a lot different from 1st and 15. 1st and 15 is already half the distance further. It puts you behind the sticks, and it gives you also, the problem is it rests the defense. Now when you have a penalty and stops play, they're getting a rest time as they take care of whatever's going on and then move. When you cause a penalty, you cause the defense to have a rest, and you don't want them to rest. You want to keep them moving. He said that our defense is so nasty, they should be locked up with P. Diddy and R. Kelly. I don't know who R. Kelly is, but they are. They're looking for somebody to hit, and I said, I like that edge. Haven't seen it in a while, and I tell you, I love that defense. Offense needs to rest up and get ready for the Hogs. They are tough. Yes, the Hogs, we'll talk about that midweek. We'll get into that. But I am concerned about the Hogs. They're a tough team, and they're looking to make a mark, and we're not some of their they don't care about us too much. We'll talk about that next week. Andy, that friend Andy, said it was an awesome game. Defense played lights out, and Thomas and Boo Carter laid the wood, and he was so proud of them. You know, I am too, Andy. We kind of talked about that, and I agree with you, and I hope you're doing well, Andy. Brent says, he said, the management of the game and coaches did an awesome job. The defense played lights out. The bad, the O-line, tackles, injuries, and penalties. And the ugly, the field was terrible. It was not on point with the SEC. All in all, it was a great weekend. OU has a 90. Now, I looked this up, and between Oklahoma, it's called the Red River Rivalry, Oklahoma and Texas, which is a big rival. And they've been playing for like 102 years. And he says here that all in all, it was a great weekend. OU has a 90% win percentage, and Norman noted the Horns have never beaten OU in Norman in 102 years. Well, that's kind of misleading in a way, because normally it's played at a Dallas. It's a neutral site, but they are tough at home. They do hold a real high percentage of win there, and it's a tough place to play all in all. And as I pointed out last week, we was 3-1. We had that Oklahoma had a 3-1 advantage us. We'd only beat them one time, and that was back in 1939. The last three times in the modern period, we had lost to them. So that was a big win, not only for it being in a top 15 team, but it was in our house, and it was something that we had not in years past had very much success. So that was a huge win. Todd Loveday, the good is Coach Heupel's ability to win a game in a different way, protecting his young quarterback. You know, I told my wife, I was talking about that, and I said how much that I really seen Coach Heupel grow. I said he was able to win a game that he could depend on his defense. So many times in the past, our defense has been so bad, it was better for the offense to be on the field and take chances rather than kicking it back to giving the defense, because the defense was going to let them score and couldn't stop nobody. But that's a different story, and that gives you a different way to coach, and he coached it to perfection. The bad was the offensive line, and the injuries are concerning. Ugly was the Oklahoma's field. I have some closing remarks on this. As we close, I don't want to. I'm going to have some scripture. I'm going to leave with you at last, but I have some closing remarks here. I thought that the game that we played a really good game. I was really impressed with our defense, and I was impressed with Coach Heupel going home. Going back after all the stuff, and going back there and be able to put it behind him and look at the game and coach it to perfection. And what really impressed me is, and that's one thing I was taking earlier, what really impressed me is those players love him, and they fight for him, and they are united. And I think that's important of anything we do. In closing, Psalms 91. Second verse says, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. Well, I'm going to say bye, and this is Turkey Man